Hello and welcome to SSRF's Spiritual Research Series. To find answers to questions such as, how was the universe created? Scientists recently performed a huge experiment in Switzerland that aimed to recreate events just after the so-called Big Bang. On 4th July 2012, they announced that they had found the elusive Higgs boson particle, referred to by some as the God particle. On 5th July 2012, some seekers of SSRF saw dazzling golden particles that fell from the hands of His Holiness Dr. Attavle, a saint of the highest order. These were divine particles of divine consciousness, or Chaitanya. A seeker is a person who does regular spiritual practice for God realization. Later, many seekers in many ashrams associated with SSRF and many seekers staying at home all over the world also found such dazzling divine particles on their body and also in their homes. Thus, they could receive the spiritual experience of divine particles firsthand. An ashram is a place where a seeker can remain engrossed in spiritual practice with spiritual discipline. Actually, the golden divine particles were first seen on both hands of His Holiness Dr. Attavle on 28th March 2012 in sunlight. In the first episode, we understood the subtle characteristics of golden divine particles. Some people may have the doubt whether the particles received by SSRF seekers are actually divine. To test using the sixth sense whether these particles are actually divine, SSRF conducted a subtle experiment. The subtle or spiritual dimension is beyond the five senses, mind, and intellect. It is studied using the sixth sense. To test something by using our sixth sense is known as a subtle experiment. Sixth sense is present in everyone. However, it is more developed in individuals who do regular spiritual practice. We request all our viewers to participate in this experiment. Let us first understand how to do the experiment. Begin by just concentrating on your breath for 1 to 2 minutes to achieve some level of concentration. We will show you two pictures, one after the other. Look at each picture. Then concentrate on it with your eyes closed for 30 seconds and observe how you feel from within, good, distressed, or neutral. A good feeling could be a slowing down of the breathing rhythm, reduction in thoughts, feeling of happiness or contentment, peace, etc. A distressed feeling could be that of rapid breathing, increase in thoughts, feeling of unpleasantness or restlessness, etc. A neutral feeling would be where there is no change in the experience while looking at the picture. Let us now perform the subtle experiment to test the authenticity of the divine particles. Please look at picture A first. Focus on it for 30 seconds with your eyes closed, as described earlier, and note down your answer. Now please look at picture B. Focus on it for 30 seconds with your eyes closed, as described earlier, and note down your answer. Let us now see the answer to the subtle experiment. We feel distressed while looking at the particles shown in picture A. We feel good while looking at the particles shown in picture B. Do not be disheartened if you could not get the answer or if it is wrong. By increasing spiritual practice, you will start getting correct answers to such experiments. Particles shown in picture A are made from chemical and synthetic components, whereas particles shown in picture B are particles formed by concentration of divine consciousness. To understand the spiritual reason underlying the answer to this subtle experiment, let us look at the pictures based on divine knowledge received by our seeker with advanced sixth sense, Miss Priyanka Lotlikar, on synthetic particles and divine particles. As the particles shown in picture A are made from synthetic components, they contain distressing vibrations. As a result, a covering of distressing energy forms on the person. Later, centers of distressing energy form in the environment. This pollutes the environment. As the synthetic particles contain illusory components, the mind becomes fickle and extroverted. In contrast, divine consciousness is functional in the divine particles shown in picture B. Waves of divine consciousness are emitted by these divine particles. These waves make the environment blissful. The divine consciousness reduces the proportion of negative thoughts and one feels enthusiastic. These particles remove any covering of distressing energy on the body. Also, vibrations of positive energy spread throughout the body. These divine particles are helping in the development of spiritual emotion of gratitude towards His Holiness Dr. Attable and facilitate the spiritual progress of seekers. We will share more findings based on subtle analysis of the divine particles in the next video on this topic. For further details on spiritual practice, please contact us at www.ssrf.org. That's all we have for you in this episode. Do explore our website for more videos on the spiritual dimension. See you and goodbye.